What is up, guys? Tarrell here, and today I'm talking about the 5 things I learned when making my short film, Space Cocaine. But before I begin, I just want to give a quick plug to Luke's short film, Shipping Madness, which will be out May 15th, so it is coming pretty soon. Get ready for it. So, let's dive right in. When I say wear different hats, what I basically mean is when you're writing the script, don't be wearing like your director's hat and your editing's hat. Just wear your screenwriter hat. And I found that this really helps because when you're writing as a director, you're not really challenging yourself. You're gonna be like, oh, well, I can't really pull that off, so let's just take that out and whatnot. And I really wanted to be ambitious with this. And I found that when I just focused on writing a story and decided to handle all the other parts later, it really helped because I could just sit down and be like, let's just try and make Space Cocaine at first just like a good short story, and then everything else I can figure out later, because there was a lot of parts in this I wasn't quite sure if I could pull off. I didn't know if I'd be able to even have someone to play Dane's character. I didn't know if I could do the brain explosion and all this other stuff like making the meteor here. It was just important that I just sat down, write the story, and then later put on the directing hat, get into directing mode, and figure out all that stuff. And that is a big thing that I learned making this movie. Usually when I'm making movies, I find a lot of my inspiration in music and movies, and both those were definitely a huge part in Space Cocaine, but there is a certain feel and tone in this that I couldn't really get in a movie or a certain song. And I found that just looking at paintings was really helpful. This painting right here called DJ was a big inspiration on Space Cocaine, and while you might not be able to see the connection between the two, for me it was a very big, strong piece. If you look at this painting right here that is actually in my room, you can see that there's a lot of inspiration that I got from it that is in Space Cocaine. A lot of the yellows, the blues, the purples. There's a lot of colors that are in this painting that I wanted to utilize in Space Cocaine. This is just one way that art can be helpful in finding inspiration, and if you ever have trouble finding like that exact tone, I definitely recommend looking at other pieces of art because they are definitely helpful. Usually when I'm making movies, I pretty much only work with Luke, and so this one was my first time really working with like kind of not a large crew, but something bigger than what I've ever really known. And it was important for me to kind of build some camaraderie between the group members and, just to have a lot of fun, make sure everyone got along well. And I did this in a few ways. First off, I made a Facebook chat where we all could talk about the video and also just joke around. A lot of the guys had fun just in the chat talking with each other, and that became super helpful. And I really just want to do this because when you're on set, if no one's really comfortable with each other, things aren't really going to flow well. But with this, everyone was very friendly with each other. Made it feel like I built a team of people that were like ready to follow me and all my crazy ideas when making this movie. So building a nice, happy little team is definitely something important to do. Being objective when you edit is really hard, but it's something that I definitely think people need to do, especially myself, that I learned. There was an article I read that basically was talking about how directors shouldn't edit their own movies because they can't be objective to it. And at first I was like, I don't really agree with that. But after making this, I agree, because when I edit, I find that I sometimes keep redoing stuff, so I get a very strong emotional response to it. But after you keep watching it, after a while, you start to lose that emotional response. But I tend to forget that for people that watch this for the first time, they don't know what's coming. They are going to experience all these emotions for the first time. So I think it's really going to be important to just not try and just keep re-editing the same things, because you're pretty much going to get to a point where you're only going to be trying to please yourself, and you're going to sacrifice a story because of that, because people are watching are not going to really understand what's happening because you're trying to make it surprising to you, but they don't know what's happening and they're going to be very lost. Does that make sense? If it does, then I hope you get my point. Last thing I learned on this is just to remove the stakes if possible. If this is a job you're hired for, you probably can't follow this advice, but on something with Space Cocaine where I'm not really, I have a deadline, but if I don't meet it, it's not that horrible. It really just makes it a lot more comfortable if you just don't make this the biggest thing in the world. In past videos, I'd act like the world would end if this movie never came out. But Space Cocaine, there were some days where it was just so windy, audio was just complete garbage, and I never really freaked out or broke down. I was just chilled because I was like, if Space Cocaine never gets finished or never comes out, I mean, is my world really over? Not really. I mean, I'd be mad, but in the bigger scheme of things, I don't think people would really care. So I mean, it's just important to just, you know, remove the stakes out of it. Don't be as serious, just have fun with it. When possible, of course. Like I said, if this is a job you're hired for, you can't really take out those stakes, but I think it's better for the team that you're working with and even yourself just to be calm, be happy, don't freak out. You know, things will turn out the way that they're supposed to in life, and that is the best advice that I can give you. So guys, that is 5 things I learned on Space Cocaine. Now enjoy some bloopers. Confusion and shock.
Okay, I'm sorry. Alright, dude. Oh my Jesus Christ.
I'm seriously getting ready to stomp this guy.
Dude, you started fucking laughing before me, dude. Fuck you. Don't blame that on me.
Shit. Oh, sorry.
Oh shit,
I fucked
dude.
up. Action. Then go. All right. Well, 99, action.
I open the door, and this big-breasted woman with a bodacious booty starts talking to me. I'm like, I'm gonna eat your ass. I will eat your ass right now. And wow. Did it taste like chicken? Oh my goodness. I recommend it, and honestly, best experience of my life.